Welcome back, YouTubers. What we have here is the video you've all been waiting for. I've been doing a little bit of research on this laptop to learn as much as I can about it because it's one of the most unique PC laptops I've ever had. This is an NEC Versa, and I believe it to be a V50. I have my reasons for that. That would make it a 50 MHz 486 DX2 based machine, and that's what I think it is, although I have no real hard proof. It is a PC-440-1531. That is the official model number. Anyway, what makes this laptop unique is that it is actually a convertible. It is the Mazda Miata of laptops. So when NEC created this model, they wanted to design a laptop that was relatively future-proof and fairly customizable. So what they did is they essentially built a fairly robust machine, the base unit, and gave the owner, the buyer, the option of choosing what kind of screen they'd like and giving them the option to swap it out later on. So if you bought this with a black and white dual scan display, you could pop out the old dual scan display at a later date and pony up about $1,000 for the color display option. I also looked for information on a possible stylus option for this laptop, but I couldn't find any reference to it in the owner's manual. But it's pretty obvious to me that this laptop may have had an optional display with a stylus-based touchscreen built in. Now this particular laptop has the highest screen option available at the time, which would have been in 1994. This has the, I believe it's a 10-inch thin film transistor display. TFT. That's an active matrix display which gives it superior image quality and really accurate and deep color. It's also driven by a fairly decent Western Digital based graphics adapter which features 1 MB of RAM, giving it full 16-bit color at 640 by 480. It will not display anything higher than that in terms of resolution because the display panel cannot process it. It cannot display it. If you try to set it to a higher resolution, the display becomes overlarged, or what happens is it doesn't scale down. You have to actually scroll to the corners of the image. It would have originally shipped with Windows 3.1, and that is what it has on it now. I actually took Windows 95 off. I rebuilt the entire machine, and I put Windows 3.1 on it. You'll notice that it has a rather unique front-mounted trackball. Getting back to the convertible aspect, the trackball allows you to use the built-in pointing device while it is in tablet mode. I'll demonstrate that for you. So we're going to pop our display off and rotate it around 180 degrees and pop it back. So, like I said, I think there might have been an optional stylus for this machine. It may have required a different display, but I'm not sure on that. I'm kind of muddy on the details right now. But this display was intended to be folded backwards and latched in place like that. Now, when it's in the tablet position, the user holds it like this, so that the ports are on the bottom of the machine, and your hand is nicely positioned in line with the trackball and left and right click buttons. It's actually kind of handy to have that feature. I'd love to see a stylus available or optional on this machine, but I don't know what the deal is with that. Now this door opens up. You have to kind of pry it open, but there's a space in here for a pen. So Is that the mysterious optional stylus? I don't know. While we're looking towards the back of the machine, let's take a look at our interface connections. We have several different options. Put this back in there. There we go. That slides under. We have our our keyboard and mouse PS2 port, display port, VGA out, and our serial 9-pin, 25-pin parallel, and our unique power adapter. It has a fairly funky 4-pin plug. If that adapter ever fails or gets lost, well, I'm shit out of luck. So there's that. It's pretty well featured. I mean, this laptop was built prior to the multimedia boom as it applies to portable computing. It doesn't have a CD-ROM drive. It doesn't have a built-in sound card. This was really a business machine. This was built for getting the job done. You've got your Type 2 and 3 PCM CIA slots over there. It's got a Kensington lock port over here. Removable battery pack on this side, removable floppy drive on this side. And one of the great features about many of these older laptops is if you weren't happy with the battery life as it came out of the box, all you had to do was purchase another battery pack. And this laptop is designed for dual fuel sources. You could have 2 battery packs in this machine by ripping out the floppy drive. Again, no option for internal CD. That was a later innovation. And in 1994, a laptop with a CD-ROM drive would have been so extraordinarily expensive, nobody in their right mind would be able to afford it. But that's where the docking station comes in. If you had the optional docking station, and I found a picture of it in the manual, the docking station features of at least a built-in 5¼ inch drive bay, and I believe it also features 1 or more ISA slots, possibly even a VESA slot, which was pretty cool to have back then. Being a high-end 486, this actually has a VESA display adapter, which is that was considered high-end back in the day. The keyboard on this laptop is terrific to type on. It has a very nice feel to it. I hate to say it, but this laptop is everything the new MacBook Pro doesn't. A great keyboard. We'll ignore this for a minute. A great keyboard, lots of connectivity, lots of expandability. Just a great laptop. Now, you'll notice a lot of older laptops, especially during the early to mid-90s, they featured these LED bars, or LCD bars. Now this is your status display. It displays power status. Once I plug it in, you'll see the battery indicator pop up. There we go. So battery charge status, caps lock, num lock, power management settings, energy conserving mode, or performance mode. And it also has another feature that you don't see anymore. It has not only a power switch, but it also has a suspend switch. And I'll show you how that works. One of the selling points of this laptop was its perceived expandability. Over here we have our proprietary RAM slot, which is under this door. Let me grab a... there we go. The door slides off, and below that door it opens up even further to reveal the hard disk drive bay, which is located right under the memory card. This is a 4 megabyte card. This machine was expandable possibly to 12. It might be expandable to 16. I'm not sure. There's 4 megabytes on board, and you've got this 4 megabyte expansion card, giving it a total of 8. And the hard drive is easily removed by simply sliding it right out of the bay. And if you need to replace the drive by itself, just pop this right open. The drive is right inside there. Now this has a 250 meg drive. I might even have a 500 kicking around. Let me take a look. Remember that Epson laptop that I had? I believe it was an EPS. The hell was the thing called? Action Note? EPS, I think it was. Well, this is the hard drive from that, and it turns out this is only an 80-something meg hard drive. That's all it is. So we're going to stick with a 250 meg drive for now. Thought I was going to throw a nice upgraded drive its way, but, well, the computer gods had other plans. So we'll just pop that in there. Pop that in there. Okay. So, you know what I want to do right now, though? I want to, before we continue on with this video, I want to take it apart and show you what the interior of this machine looks like. So let's go ahead and do that. Because I have to, I need to write down what the CMOS battery type is. It needs a new one. And I'll show you what else is inside of this case. So we're going to just pop the screen off, like so. Easy as pie is how it works. And we're left with a bare chassis. So, I'm going to put something down to protect the machine's face while I unscrew it from the body. There we go. I'm going to take the battery and the floppy drive out. Now these bays are not reversible. The battery can only go in the battery bay. I mean, the battery can go in either bay, but the floppy drive can only go in the floppy bay. This thing weighs remarkably little when there's no screen, no battery, and no floppy drive in it. No hard drive. It weighs nothing. It's when you add all those heavy components that it starts to gain weight. I mean, are we surprised? No? Alright then. We're just going to unscrew the whole thing here. It's held together by very few screws. It is kind of a challenge to get open, I find. It's just, a lot of it is clipped together. And we're dealing with old plastics. Really old and brittle plastics. So it's not something you want to do on a regular basis if you can avoid it. Yeah, this thing uses some heavy-duty machine screws to keep it in one piece. And you'll find that the way it's built isn't that dissimilar to the PowerBook 100 series. It kind of reminds me of the 100 series in a lot of ways. So this all kind of pops off, and you're going to need to coax it a little bit without breaking anything. It's really easier said than done. I don't have a black stick here, so I'm going to have to use a screwdriver. So once you get the machine's chassis split apart towards the rear, it does come apart. It takes a lot of nudging and prodding. Again, we don't want to break anything, and that's an easy thing to do. I don't think this screwdriver is adequate. Oh, it actually did just pop off, so... Yeah, clearly it wasn't intended to be user-serviced. I believe the latter version of this laptop was a little more user-friendly, or mechanic-friendly. Yeah, this one it's a bitch. I'll be honest with you, it's a total bitch to work on. I hope I never have to do this again. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to order a new battery for it, and then continue the video after the battery comes in. That way I don't have to do this a second time. You know what I mean? I don't want to break it. I'm afraid I'm gonna. Son of a bitch. Yeah, it is hard to do. I won't lie. I've worked on many laptops in my life. This one's probably one of the most difficult, just because it wasn't built for easy disassembly, like most of them really are. And I work on Apples for a living, so it says a lot. It really does say a lot. So yeah, I don't even know how I got it. I have done this once before. Alright, we're getting there. Interestingly enough, oh, you know what I did? I pulled the keyboard out. I got it out of its way a little bit, and then I reached inside and I grabbed it by the... I was going to say what Donald Trump says. Grab it by the cat. Another word for cat. But unlike Donald Trump, I have a filter. You know, I could be president. I could be president if he can. Yeah, enough money, of course. There we go. There we go. We got the cover off. All right, let's take a look inside. Let me get some better light here. So here's our processor. This is a board-mounted. It's a DX2 and it's not a 50. It is a 40. It's a DX240. I didn't know they made such a thing. Well, ain't that a peach? Here's our status display. Here's our clock battery. This is the battery we need to replace. I'm going to pop this sucker out. And I'm going to try to order one of these. I don't think Batteries Plus has these in stock. This is it. Notice how it's not leaking and it's over 24 years old. Almost 24 years old. Not bad. Alright, we got the, this is our power switch. We're going to put that back on. It goes on like this. Okay. Now, this dip switch block is visible when you remove the memory slot cover. And what it is interesting. I just noticed a battery that's soldered to the motherboard. No, that's not a battery. That might actually be the speaker. My bad. Yeah, it's the speaker. Now this little sucker right here, this is our suspend resume battery. This laptop has a lot of batteries in it. Now this one here, it's called a bridge battery, and what it does is it's a rechargeable battery that allows the system memory to remain intact when the battery dies. So you can swap the battery out by just putting it into suspend mode. And if you take a look, this happens all the time on these things when they die. But there's a little bit of corrosion on this terminal right here, and that is pretty standard issue. And eventually that eats away at the pin on the motherboard. So this battery, since it's dead, we're going to remove it permanently. We're not going to put it back in there. I can buy this battery for 40 bucks. Do I want to spend 40 bucks on this? No, I don't. So we're going to leave it out of there. So it doesn't leak in the future and cause severe damage. The motherboard, this is typical of early mid-90s laptops. It wasn't until much later that they started building everything on one board. But you've got the board on top, which contains our processor, our RAM. This is like our north bridge. And the south bridge is on the bottom. It has all the connectivity, interfaces, and other wonderful things. Under the keyboard, there's not much to see. Just the charging circuit and the floppy drive interface. Now that is on a separate board. That's on. So there's 3 boards in this laptop. 3 boards. It's pretty complex, but because it keeps bitching about not having the right settings, I'm going to replace this battery before I try to fire it up, and we're gonna go through it again. We're gonna rebuild the laptop completely, and I'm gonna order this today, so it should be here hopefully this week, and we'll be able to resume this video. And stay tuned. You know what? I changed my mind. I'm gonna upload this video anyway. We're gonna call this a 2-part series. The first part being disassembly, explaining the laptop and all the features, and we're going to do showing you how to change the CMOS battery and all that happy stuff. And then I'm going to do another video on reloading the OS. I think that's what I'm going to do. That way you guys can have something to watch and something to look forward to. So stay tuned for the second part of this video, where we reassemble the laptop with a new battery, and I might even surprise you with a new suspend resume battery. It depends on if I can find one cheap enough. Probably not going to happen. Probably not going to, no, I'm probably not going to do that. Because to do that, I would have to buy a new main battery. And I don't think I can buy this anymore. I'm going to have this pack rebuilt. And that doesn't come cheap. So think what we're going to do is we're going to just do the CMOS battery on this baby, and that's it. That's all we're going to do. We're going to do the CMOS battery, rebuild it, make it as new again, and that's all we're going to do. That's all I'm prepared to do right now. So it's too bad it didn't take a CR2032 because I have 100 of those. They call it, this is a high capacity battery because of its size. It can store more, it packs more energy over a longer period of time. A CR2032 would absolutely work here because it is a 3-volt battery, and but it won't fit the socket. That's the one downfall. It won't fit the damn socket, so we gotta do something about it. Alrighty then. Anything else? That's about all I have to show you. Stay tuned for the second part of this series, where we talk about rebuilding the OS. We're going to put Windows 3.1, DOS 622, and we're going to do it as correctly as possible. Oh, and real quick, I want to talk about this trackball area. The trackball socket is accessible by removing that front cover. It is really hard and painful to remove that cover because it feels like it's going to snap, but it didn't snap. But you can see there's a lot of grime in there. We need to clean that out with rubbing alcohol, so I'm just going to go ahead and do that. I just wanted to point out that that is how you clean these. And here's the ball. It's a very small trackball, and yeah, so we got to clean that out.